Hey everybody, my name is Frigid Hyperion, and welcome back to the Wilds of Wildemount campaign. We are in the middle of session 45, and this will be part 2. Emily, take it away.
Just a reminder, if you want to check out Cloud Bees and other really cool shit that you can add to your campaign with Sky Zephyr's 5e combat overlay, do so by following the link in our descriptions.
Woo!
The party, with the exception of Brian, walks into the library of the Clovis. The library of the Cobalt Soul. So a lot of things that start with C in this world. Um, you see around you shelves and shelves of books, a many people meandering, reading, and cozy chairs by arcane fireplaces. You see books that are just floating to their proper locations after they have been done. Get the feeling of like a mixture of, of cozy bookshop with Harry Potter library. Kind of that vibe. Um, as you all walk in. Now, has anybody here been in the libraries before? Rocky, um, I know Edward has. Have we all? Has everybody else been as well, or no?
I don't believe Moonzik has, no.
Nope.
Fantastic, Rocky. As you know, as Edward, there's a such thing as a library card here. Um, so if you would like to check out the books, you absolutely can.
Have
Um,
that library card.
you do have a library card.
Oh, okay, that's convenient.
I think we briefly talked over it last time.
We did.
Um, making your way through the the piles and piles and shelves full to the brim of books. You see as you glance up, the library is like dozens of stories tall. Um, or actually, Kale, I should ask, is it going opposite? Is it down or is it up? The higher the tier.
It depends on the library.
Your library.
Yeah, this is your backstory.
Um, it goes up.
Then, as you glance up to dozens of stories tall, you see you see books floating about ahead above you. But here on the first floor or two, um, the tall shelves reaching at least 20 feet into the air, um, packed full of all of the knowledge that you could possibly want. Though you know this, Edward, from having spent time in the library and your affinity with the arcane, between each of the major tiers, there is in the sky above you, sky in the room above you, there is an arcane shimmer that seems to act as a sort of barrier. Even though the place is wide open and expansive, there is clearly protections in place to stop people from sneaking where they may not be allowed.
So, am I allowed in the, like, just the first tier, right? The most
Yep.
basic one. general knowledge that everyone has access to, right? That's the only one I'm allowed in.
Correct. Um, accompanied by Brine, you can get up a tier, I believe.
Tier two.
Um, to tier 2,
I have tier
accompanied.
2.
No, you have tier 3.
What?
So you're allowed
Um,
to. So as long as someone that is in tier three accompanies me, I can access tier two knowledge. But
correct.
otherwise,
But
like I'm not allowed to access
even
tier three
if
even if a tier three comes in, right?
correct, even and with that as well, Brine, um, if she say got or say Barkley wanted to take you onto like say like tier 6, right? That would not be allowed. The only time accompanied knowledge can is tier 2. Um,
Because tier 2 isn't actually dangerous knowledge, it's knowledge in old books and things that are.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's things that are more fragile have a chance of getting
Okay, so
damaged and
it's
whatnot.
just more like to protect or preserve whatever stuff is there. It's not actually sensitive
Correct.
information.
Whereas sensitive information is tier 3 and up.
Yeah.
But walking into the beautiful, beautiful library of the Cobalt Soul, um, what would you like to do?
Is there like a librarian or like someone that looks like they would be familiar with
Yeah.
the
So
contents
you
of the library?
see many people walking around in blue robes, um, indicating um, their association with the Cobalt Soul. In addition, you see a lot of younger students, like, late teens, 20s, even some older folks. Um, there is a mesh of people of all varieties here. Uh, but this library seems to be particularly acquainted with the young, who you presume are students. Um, but those who are wearing the monk robes of a deep cobalt, um, you recognize them as the people who would know more here.
All right. Uh, I guess since, the monk robe are people that might. I'm gonna go up to one of them and with a flick of my wrist, I'm going to conjure up a minor illusion, right? Which is, literally just like the symbol, sort of a sigil of whatever the serpent shape thing was, that I found on the medallion. And I'm gonna ask, excuse me, may I inquire you know, about this particular sigil? Do you know if I can find any information or any particular sources that would help
Yeah.
me identify this particular icon?
You walk up to um a somebody like a half orc, a gray half orc who has glasses that sit low on her face, right on the tip of her nose. Um, as she looks at you in the icon that you have um, manifested, um, she says, "Well, certainly. It looks to me." Uh, I assume religious iconography. She looks towards you.
Yes.
Um, right this way, and she leads the group of you to a section in the back that does have a lot of people in it. This is by no means a an ill-used section. A lot of religious studies happen here. Um, and she pulls from the shelf a um, uh, a particular book. It's thick, well used. You see, and quickly with a deftness, of one who has spent a lot of time in the library, flips it open to a page bearing a very similar icon to the one that you are holding. Um, Let me pull it here. Just have to find it in my. Um, uh, sorry.
Take
Took
your
me a long
time.
time to find. We're just gonna throw it on here. That's fine. Oh, I just realized I put it in the GM's layer. Token.
Oh.
Um, the and she says to you, "Is this what you're looking for?" Indeed, it is.
Indeed, it is.
Um, and and with that, she hands you the book, with a brief summary in it, describing the meaning of this symbol. Um, is there anything else that I can? Oh, excuse me. Is there anything else I can do for you?
At the moment we're strapped for time, so not really, but I might be back later sometime. Perhaps then I can look into other concerns and points of interest, topics of interest in the library, and I do have the time. Thank you so much for your help.
She gives you a nod of the head uh, and sets off. In the summary, just glancing at the book, this is the symbol of Zahir, the cloaked serpent.
Oh!
Zahir?
Um, so Zahir is the god. He's associated with blood, nature, and trickery. Um, the coiled serpent is his symbol, and he has province over assassins, poisons, snakes, and vines. Well, I guess the vines is not necessarily directly in his domain. It's just often associated with this betrayer god, um, because of their snake-like appearances, um, and his nature affinity. But um, Zahir is the creator of snakes and also of one tea.
Oh, okay.
This is only a brief summary, but you do know that uh, that the cloaked serpent um, has a couple of commandments. Um, ki- the three commandments of the cloaked serpent are to keep your acts obfuscated and secret. The night is your greatest ally. To strike quickly and without reason, blind the target with their own confusion, and to kill slowly, agonizingly, or worse, make them enjoy it. Let me just put these in here, the commandments.
Oh no.
Wait, isn't slowly and killing agonizingly like two different, like they're opposites?
No, they're not.
Quickly and painfully? I mean, one of them is to
No,
like slowly let them.
agonizingly.
Oh, yeah.
So
O-
it says strike quickly without reason. Okay? Kill slowly or agonizingly. Or worse, make them enjoy. The
Yeah, by the way, when I asked for the spelling, I meant Zahir, not Huanti. I know what a Huanti is.
I did put Zahir too.
Oh, never mind.
I put that before I put Wanti, but I know not everybody is familiar with Wanti.
Yeah, immune to poison. Snake people.
Some people are
Immune.
very familiar with Wanti.
I don't know what you're talking about, Emily. I'm
Um,
not specifically staying quiet on this matter for any particular reason.
No, you totally don't
now,
have a character that is one.
are you planning on doing a little bit more research into this?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a history check, an investigation check, um, and
25.
perfect. Roll me an investigation check. Okay,
17.
and then roll me a religion check.
Ooh, I don't have that one hot barred. Although it's still an intelligence check, so I'm not worried. It's just no proficiency, but eh. Alright, religion.
Okay.
God
Okay,
damn.
you know what? Then
Edward's the
that's
encyclopedia today.
all around, really nice rules.
Okay. First, the cloaked serpent loathes the lawbearer and the wild mother, as they stand for everything he despises: love, order, and life. His followers frequently try to appease him by using poison and fire to undermine, poison, fire, and whatnot to undermine civilization and consume nature. This is an important thing that you only were able to get because you rolled above a 20 on your history check. Um, the cloaked serpent is the creator of Ukatoa.
Uh-oh.
After
Creator of
Zahir,
Ukatoa? Did you just say
yep,
creator of Ukatoa?
yes, I did. After Zahir
Uh-oh.
was banished during the Calamity, Ukatoa was left to rule the Lucidian Ocean as his proxy. However, Ukatoa began demanding that people who entered his domain renounce their gods and worship him, which enraged Zahir. So, to punish Ukatoa's insolence, the cultists of Zahir, who corrupted a series of temples dedicated to Ukatoa and sealed the Leviathan deep beneath the ocean floor. Um, so, just to kind of go over a little bit more like in depth of the history. I know we've talked briefly about it, but um whatnot. Zahir is one of the betrayer gods who during the founding wished to join the primordials in destroying the mortal races here in Alexandria. The betrayer gods were all banished to prison like planes, although at that time it's in your notes it's a little bit unclear on which planes Zahir was banished to. Um, Before the calamity, Zahir and the other betrayer guards each forged one of the arms of the betrayers, sentient weapons using the life force of greater fiends. Um, Zahir's weapon is called the Lash of Shadows, a whip with 5 serpent heads, um, as well. Um, just before the calamity, the followers of Zahir slaughtered people, in the Vault of Shumas and locked it off. Similarly, seers of the Serpent Folk Empire foresaw the calamity, and to survive its dangers, the Empire created a magical stasis field. Blah 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 blah. It has been unable to be found, etc., etc. Um, During the calamities, Zahir had ambushed and killed many of Melora's followers. Um, and in that area, in the Lushgout Forest, um, it was foretold that Melora had screamed so loudly, um, which is up north. Let me just go to the map of. It was told that Melora had screamed so loudly that um, sorry, my brain just slowed down. Um, that her anguish scream completely had altered the forest, making it torturous and thorny. Let's see here. To the Menagerie Coast.
It's
Is it
wild.
visual here? Oh, you can't see it. It's actually technically just up here. Just I believe, yeah, just out of sight of this image. um,
Mhm.
but um, many Wanti worship Zahir, and in general, the serpent folk who worship Zahir don't do it, as far as you know, out of devotion, but out of interest and their main ambition, becoming equal to or greater than their deity. So worship of Zahir is not about necessarily always it's not out of devotion, but rather ambition to become better than him. Um,
Okay, so basically they're worshiping him as a means to gain more power.
Correct. Um, do, 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 do. But in during the calamity, basically, most
Right.
of his followers were wiped out. Um, and those who do remain are very difficult to find, as
Well, yeah,
most
because God of secrecy and trickery, right?
correct. Most of the time, when you do come across them, it's bad news for you or terrible happenstance.
Yeah. Usually they won't let themselves be seen unless, they won't be seen unless they let themselves be seen.
Or
Most of
if
the
you're
time.
unlucky enough to come
Yeah.
across them.
Or wrong place, wrong time.
Okay,
Well, is the rest of the party with me?
Yeah.
everybody but Brian.
Everybody but Brian. Well, this gave us certainly a lot of insights into the general nature. I'm moderately concerned.
Zahir.
Okay, that's a lie. I'm very concerned. Soren, as you know, clearly the Temple of Melora has been targeted, and it has been stated within this text that well, the followers of Sihir are not exactly fond of Melora and the worshippers of, you know,
Or
worshippers
Rathis.
of faith. What what should we do? Clearly, we know that acts, and clearly we know acts of terrorism and acts of, you know, hostility have been marked against this temple.
Not only that,
It is likely that, they already have agents in there prepared to strike again. What
this
do we
isn't
do?
this wasn't even the first time that they've struck with that pond that was in the forest. I have no doubt that it was probably Zahir cultists that tainted that pond.
Farm in the forest.
The pond.
Oh, the pond in the forest. You mean with the unicorn?
Yes.
Yes, do you think that maybe, well, I'm not sure how I'm going to wrap my head around these facts or statements. What do
Oh,
you think we should do as our next course of action, knowing all of
just
this now?
just so you do know, worship of in the Menagerie Coast, the worship of the betrayer gods is technically not illegal, but it is greatly frowned upon. If you do worship the betrayer gods, it is kept under wraps. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
Whereas
just
in the Dwendalian Empire, you are well aware of this. Any worship of the betrayer gods is
strictly illegal and forbidden, and you will be
very
killed
much
on.
prohibited. Um,
Well, I
killed
mean, that
on sight.
explains.
Oh! Right then.
Yum.
What are your thoughts and takes on this? Want to hear more input from you two? Well, three.
In terms of in terms of action, there's nothing that we can do. There's no evidence of him himself taking planning to take action against Melora's lighthouse, and he hasn't committed any such felony yet. As much as we're sure he is planning something nefarious, we can't act on it without rightful cause.
Well, my primary concern itself is more so that of how do we make sure that well, I mean, my primary concern is not making sure, but how do we figure out what they're trying to do? And I know this may seem grim for me to suggest, but Soren, do we wait for them to cause a second strike so that we can stop them and indict them of clear transgressions against your faith, or do we take preventative and immediate action now in order to prevent what they're planning on the basis that any solid foundation of evidence seen against this would be potentially nullified or stuffed out in the process of doing so?
Soren?
I I don't know. As much as I would like to prevent another thing like that from happening, I feel like it's our best case scenario to find their base of operations. But to do that, we'd either have to follow them back or somehow figure it out on our own.
Hmm.
I don't like either outcome.
Well, I suppose consulting you itself is not about liking what either outcome, more so at least asking what outcome do you believe, as a follower of Melora's faith, which outcome do you believe would be more beneficial to the standing of your faith?
Preventing another attack from happening. For sure. If another attack were to happen, I don't know how the other followers would feel about it. It might be scary for them. So preventing would probably be our best idea. However,
Preventing it, you are aware preventing it itself would stifle our chances of being able to track down the other followers. But if you believe this is what is right, then I suppose we can
I don't
take preventative measures against the next attack.
I don't
If there were to
necessarily
be.
think that they're going to strike immediately, or at least not this day, and it is possible that
It
they're
would be brazen to be. Well, it would be a brazen attack to strike immediately during the daytime, not to mention right immediately after another previous attack where guards are on high alert.
right. If I had to guess, I'd imagine that the amount of guarding of the lighthouse will probably decline as stability seems to reign, and then that'll be their opportunity to strike again. My proposition is that we follow them whenever they leave the lighthouse. If they're still within the lighthouse, we know they're still there, and we can track them afterward. And it's possible that there is a base of operations somewhere within Nicodranas, or maybe just outside.
Yes. Are we all in unanimous agreement to take preventative measures?
I'm in agreement.
Windchime, Soren?
I think it suits us.
anything to help the people.
Before we make any final decisions, I do want to inform Brian.
I do think the information listed within our particular research itself is very relevant and very important to Brian.
Over on the other side of campus, Brian, you are still chatting with your teacher and mentor, Namorn. Um, over the course of over the past hour, maybe two, you guys have developed an action plan of ways that you can continue your studies here within the Cobalt Soul and out amongst the world. Um, would you like to elaborate on that, or would you rather me?
I would like to do it in character if possible.
Absolutely.
So you're saying that there's a chance that with the latent warlock pact, I could uh do something with Forest Scribe that would allow me to receive lessons through sending and ask questions, and perhaps even contact my friends here for our study sessions.
Yes, certainly. It's it would involve, of course, you speaking with Ukatoa, and asking those powers to be adjusted. But that is not unheard of by any means when it comes to these warlock pacts. Um, in fact, as you mentioned before, you have already done so. Um, changing things, different deals to be made. Um, but it's certainly possible. Certainly, certainly, certainly.
What about what are
But
your
go ahead.
impressions on my chances of that actually working with Ukatoa?
You see a grim look set upon her face. Honestly, not much. Ukatoa is a fickle being. At even the best of times, and with far more nefarious ideals. And although I understand and empathize with your situation, um, in an ideal world, you would find a way to separate yourself from him. This is what I propose, of course, is to associate yourself back in Ayun's good graces. That would be, I mean, the studies that you are doing are well within Ayun's um, purview. Uh, although, of course, as we've discussed, the issue is that of your rank. In order to gain access to Ayun and ask her more directly, there's a lot of people who would want and require that. Um,
I,
so we would have to up you a little bit in
a
order
lot of it.
to, yes,
That's
uh,
rank 5 or 6?
6,
I'm currently
7,
3.
7. You're 4, I thought. No, you're not
No,
rank 3. Are you rank 3?
you said I was earlier, because,
Okay, then you are rank 3. Sorry, the ranks get me all confused.
yeah.
Um,
Nerds.
You're well aware that I passed the knowledge requirement test for 4.
I am. I
It was
am.
my character and my grasp of morality um, being foreign that gave pause.
This is this is true. But you have had time. You have grown quite a lot, Brian. In fact, I quite like to think that the party that you're currently with has done a lot of good for you. Moral situations being thrown left and right when you're out in the life of the adventurer.
I was surprised by your answer about my question of lies to tell truth and truth to tell lies. It's one that resonates pretty deeply throughout the Cobalt Soul. I'm surprised to hear, after all the ethics lessons on why lying is bad, to hear that many of the soul believe that it is worse to tell truth to lead to falsehoods.
Is inherently is not lying and manipulating that of the situation. Therefore, in lying to tell the truth, you one might be able to convey the honesty, the real truth.
It explains the ranking system quite well as well. If we are so open about knowledge, why is some knowledge restricted?
People are aware, as I'm sure you know, that the system does exist. It is not that you don't have access to it, ever. It is that you currently don't. You take our library right now. You look up and you see all of the tiers of knowledge above you. centuries and centuries of knowledge. Some very dangerous. Anybody could see it. Anybody can. It's just not currently they're able to access it. Later on, certainly. But things like that cannot just be freely given. I'm sure you understand. Now,
I,
that is.
I think I do now. Will you allow me to take the test? Special circumstances?
You see that Professor Warren gives you um, a warm glance, and and says, "Yes, I think that would be best. Not to mention, some of the knowledge that you have come across has been, well, frankly, incredibly interesting and very dangerous. So, if you must continue the path that you're going on, I think it is best, not only for yourself, but for the Cobalt Soul and Ayun herself." All right. Well, I'm going to get things arranged for your test. Um, in the meantime, go meet back up with your party, and I will see you here. Unfortunately, these tests don't happen overnight. It is going to take 2 days for me to get it in order at minimum.
Course.
Would that work for you?
Of course. Although with this plan set in motion, I cannot help but feel alarmed that perhaps by 2 days past, I may be in danger of
In danger?
reprisal.
Ah, Ukatoa. Hmm.
Especially with the fact that my power comes from him currently. Well, you can understand my hesitation. Especially to, as the saying is, bite the hand that feeds. I trust
Wonderful.
your judgment.
Just 1 second, and you see Nomoran begins to shuffle through um, the desk, and you hear a distinct clicking of something, um, and they pull out an amulet and say to you, um, well, this should provide a level of protection. I I can't guarantee anything, of course, Brian. You have gotten yourself in quite the pickle. But I think this will help. I do recommend, of course, that you stay near. Doesn't have to be on the campus by any means, or even in town, but that you stay close enough that if something does happen, we can be there. You're a valuable student and a very valuable mind. and upon grabbing the amulet from her, um, this is a mm, it is an amulet of mind shielding, basically. Um,
Oh,
upon this is not to be kept,
Mm-hmm.
but for borrowing during this process, it won't completely, but it will diminish the power, if that makes sense. You still have the power, but the ability um for him to impress himself upon you um
Mm-hmm.
is been slightly reduced. Takes the edge off, basically. Needs together. Um right. Well, I do have class to attend. Um be safe, Brian. You are dealing with extraordinary powers that are far beyond your control at the moment. I will send word.
Do I have to keep this secret? Or is this knowledge that which I can share amongst my study group?
Okay, well, are you referring to what parts are you referring to?
The fact that I can take the test.
Certainly. Let them know. You will need a lot of support, after all.
I understand such a drastic jump in rank would be nearly unprecedented.
Completely unprecedented, though. It has happened before, it's just not often.
I'm grateful for the opportunity. Extremely so.
Well, we'll see how you do. I have the utmost faith in you. Go prepare yourself, spend time relaxing, studying, and the like.
Thank you.
Certainly. And with that, you exit. You exit the building, and what do you do?
Um, Brian would know enough about Brian. Brian's gonna rush down to the library. Actually, this is a really important test, and uh, I think she's not that diligent of a student, but in this case, I think she'd consider herself a diligent student. Like time to cram,
Um,
and in doing so, I think she might just bump directly into the party without actually seeing them. Just literally bump into them.
you rush your way over to the religious section, as knowing that you will be in contact with Ayun for this test.
Oh
Um,
God, that's right.
um, you decide to brush up on your on your
Knowledge
religious
of Ayun.
um um focus deep in thought. um
Ayun, Ayun, Ayun. A B C D E F G H I.
Um,
Oh,
you
my apologies. I'm so sorry. Moonsick?
Who? How did you get here?
I
Wait,
was literally.
that's more of a question you should be asking me. I'm sorry. You study here.
We're the ones on campus. Why are we asking her why she's on campus? She literally told us that she was going to be on campus.
Why are you in the religious section? You guys on campus looking for me, I understand that, but why are you in the religious section?
I'm gonna pull out the book and flip to the page with the symbol of the serpent. That's why.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yes. And
I
also, I'm gonna like
really
flip
need
over a
to.
couple pages to like the scripture with like Ukatoa. I'm assuming there's like a big illustrated Ukatoa serpent.
oh yeah.
Also
Oh yeah.
this. Also that. And I'm gonna point to it.
After pointing to the couple of paragraphs, your eyes quickly read through everything, and you now have the knowledge of the party.
You're just gonna see her just like kind of sigh and be like, well, not too much about this Kareem Zukato's involvement.
Well,
Oh, God, I do not have very much time. I really need to study up.
Well, I hate to keep you waiting. You should probably go.
hold on. There is another part of why we're here. We researched this on because we ended up finding what we believe is a Zahir cultist at Malora's lighthouse. We don't know anything of what they might be planning. We just don't think that presence of a cultist immediately after attack is a good sign. And
Sorry, I'm
we were going to ask you
in my
and
own thoughts.
oh, sorry.
What?
We were going to we wanted to talk to you about it anyway, but we knew you were busy at the time, but actually this is fantastic timing. Um we were going to try and find a way if we can track down the movements of that cultist and see where they might be staying. We don't know if it's maybe it could be is anything normal as an inn room, or they could have their own. Um,
Oh, you found the cultists, you want to track them down, and you want to prevent further attacks on Melora's lighthouse?
basically,
Yes.
intuitive as ever.
Alright.
Do you have any other? Do you have any
Will that
objections or any other
involve us
thoughts?
leaving town?
Potentially.
Yeah, I might not actually be able to leave town for 2, maybe 3 days.
Why would that be?
Well, I have a chance to do something really cool and really good for both myself and um the Cobalt Soul, and that's awesome. But and she's gonna like be clutching the amulet right now. I have never heard of a um elder Leviathan being exactly charitable to those who are planning on perhaps following and contacting and perhaps doing service for an outer god.
Moonza kind of gives a nod and he says, "Well, I'm not sure who exactly you'd be referring to, but if you have your
Ayun.
reasons, I was he's being discreet about it. But if you have your
Brian
reasons,
isn't.
but if you have your reasons, then I I understand. But now we're going to go to the jewelers that we were on our way to originally,
The jeweler?
except to liquidate the gems.
I thought we were going to armaments. Bella said we'd get a much better price at armaments.
We could try them, but if they seem too suspicious or if they pry into it too much, I might withdraw.
Alright. Do you want me to do the talking? I used to frequent the store, just looking at all the cool stuff.
It's up to you. I don't want to pry you away from your studying if this is important.
Oh, I mean... I'm sure I can do... I'm sure I can spare a couple of hours to help with the transaction and to see that old armor shop. It really was cool.
Alright. And help us liquidate that, and then we'll pick up the mimic cloak, and then we'll see if we can locate that cultist again, and then, if we can, we'll track down his whereabouts.
I think that sounds like a plan.
I think
Okay.
that sounds like a plan.
Okay. So the lot of you begin exiting the Cobalt Soul. Um, I assume you've gotten all the knowledge you need from the books. You're not taking them with you, right?
No.
Okay. You see, you put.
Actually, can Brian have a fairly common book of Ioun that
Yeah.
they have multiple copies of? She's literally reading as they walk.
Um, as having checked out the Book of Ioun, you all begin your way to Lean's Extraordinary Armaments. A a young boy, um, with a messenger bag strapped over his shoulder, um, who appears to be running basically right in your direction. Um, he rushes up, and you notice that while he is running, he's clearly not out of breath as he talks to you, um, and he says, um, uh, excuse me. Are the lot of you the Legati company?
I suppose we are.
What do you...
I have a letter for you, and he hands you a letter, and he looks at you and waits.
Alright,
Moon's
Brian's
Cheem will reach into his pocket and hand the boy a gold.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day. And he runs away.
What was that? What is this?
not quite sure.
What does it say?
Moonzik will open the letter.
You open up the letter, and it is a invitation. Oh, let me actually. I can't believe I still have you on here. Um, it is a invitation to the Withered Bird Inn. Um, this this summons Vince calls for the Legati company to meet. I don't know what's the names. To meet Branda Tools and various Ignatius Crandall tonight for an urgent mission. The letter speaks about the letter speaks about having heard uh, of the Legati company's um, dealings uh, all of the Menagerie Coast, and that they hope that you would be able to help them with a hefty reward in doing so.
Moonzook will read it aloud. Well
You
then,
see, the letter is written in a beautiful script with a very practiced hand.
does the handwriting look familiar to anybody by any chance?
No, it does not look familiar.
Okay. Hmm. Interesting.
But it should say it does. Fuck, what's the name? It does mention um uh the Judge Renette. I should say
Judge Renette.
Oh.
yes.
Yeah.
I should. Sorry, I didn't actually type out the letter, so I
It's
apologize for it's all kind of.
it's okay. It seems that the good Judge Renette has mentioned us, and our reputation's done very well. So we might
I
have a
don't
job.
suppose this was a. I don't suppose Judge Renette forwarded us a letter of recommendation of some kind.
It's entirely possible.
What did we do for Jethro? Oh no, that was before me, right?
Right. We helped. We helped the good judge to basically return to find slash return slash save his wife from this party that had gone horribly wrong in a manner, and that's how Edward and I, and also Animo, got these law enforcement writs. And it's also how I got Ghost Eye.
Yes. So I assume it was a letter of recommendation
Indeed.
given expressly from him.
Must have been. So, we'll. So it looks like we have our evening affairs figured out. But I do ask Brine, it's up to you if you want to accompany us with this, or if you'd rather study for your upcoming test.
To be honest, as much as I need to study, the whole reason I even have the test coming up is because of the moral decisions I've had to make within the context of this party. So, I'm going to help out. I think that's the correct choice to make. As soon as we're done, I'm going to dive right back into research. I might ask for help from my university friends.
Absolutely. And if we can help you in any way, feel free to let us know. We've got your back.
Anybody here have communications with outer gods? He's just gonna look around.
Moonzik pulls out a little pocketbook and
I'm gonna
skims
like
through
yeah,
it.
I'm gonna gesture my hand, like sort of waving it, like and pointing directly to both Soren and Windchime. Yeah, I wonder.
Do you guys actually like talk to them, or and they talk back, or like
No.
no? Soren? I mean, you had an interaction with a unicorn. That's a celestial. That's another plane being.
Quite a god, I would say.
No, not quite. But like, hey, bottom of the barrel, right?
Oof.
Soren?
The unicorn at bottom of the barrel.
Right.
Ah!
Soren. Jeez, you're even more out of it than I was.
Muted. Okay, sorry. I look over and I'm muted the entire time. No, I mean, yes, I did have an interaction with a unicorn, but I wouldn't necessarily call that an interaction with a god.
I mean, this was pretty cool, though.
Unicorns are pretty cool.
Well, in any case, I suppose we should go get these sold rather quickly and then pick up our cloak. Where does that take us for the day? What time is it? Been moving around so much.
Afternoon.
It's afternoon.
It's like early afternoon, yeah. As you are continuing your way to Aline's extraordinary armaments, you see another young boy. This one appears to be very much out of breath as he approaches you and says, "Are you all the Legati company?"
Am I getting deja vu here? Yes. What can I help you with?
Yes.
Oh, I have a letter for you. And he hands you a letter.
Is this the same boy that we just saw?
No, this is not the same boy.
I'm gonna like raise my eyebrow. Okay.
How have we gotten 2 letters and 30? Oh, whatever.
I'm gonna give the boy a gold as well and say, go find
Thank
rest somewhere for a minute or two.
Oh, thank you. And you see he runs off. As you hold this letter in your hand, this one it has a embellishment from the Clovis Concord on it.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Alright.
Moonzik's going to open it and read it.
Reading it out loud, it is a invitation. If you would like, it is not required to come to the questioning of the assassin that you had brought in to town a few days ago. It is scheduled for tomorrow morning, bright and early.
Oh, one thing after another. At this point,
Well,
I
I
might as
mean,
well write up
seeing
an
as you have a
itinerary
post-it
for everyone.
Heh. Looks like our schedules are packed now. Now that we've gained at least some sort of traction, I suppose.
So, what is the plan now? Because we totally want to go sit in on that.
Yes. So, the plan is maybe let's gather somewhere for an early breakfast. Go to that hearing. And however long it takes afterwards, Brian, you're going right back into studying.
Brian is currently reading.
I like to imagine Brian has like 2 open books held in each hand and is trying to read back and forth between the two.
cross-referencing to try and figure out the truth within the truth or some shit.
Yeah. You know what I think you have studying well underhand. Early breakfast, and we'll go to the questioning. Oh my goodness! If we get one more letter,
I'm gonna wait for like a comically long period of time.
yeah.
Nope, seems like that's it. We definitely want to go to the questioning of the assassin, don't we?
Yes.
As for the job specified, did they include more specific details
I
as
imagine
to?
they did not, but they. I imagine the details of which are a little sensitive, so they're probably going to give us the details then.
Yes. Yes, I suppose it's most wise not to entrust the average delivery boy to sensitive information.
Hmm.
You know, I'm sure it's fine. Just a question popped up into my mind.
What question?
Nah, I'm sure it's fine. Let's go meet. Let's find out what the job is. With all luck, it's not super urgent, and we can even do it after the 2 days.
And plus, I have
It
to.
did say specify in the letter that the job was urgent.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's go find that job then.
Well, we
Were
gotta.
you not planning on going to the Lean's Extraordinary Armaments?
Yeah. One thing at a
Yes.
time.
Okay.
All right.
I have
As you
ADHD.
continue your way to Lean's Extraordinary Armaments, you see running down the street in front of you is a teenage boy.
I swear to God.
I swear to
Is a
fucking
teenage
Christ.
boy. Who runs up to you and says,
Fuck!
"Are you all the Legati
I
company?"
swear to fucking Christ, this is New Vegas.
Yes, yes, we are.
What?
What can I do for
Are
you?
we allowed to
I-
say no?
No, we shouldn't.
I have a letter for you.
All right.
Are
He
you
hands you.
gonna hand him
He,
a
han-
gold?
he hands you a letter. Edward hands him a gold,
Yeah,
and
I hand
he
him.
says, "See you later," and he dashes
We-
off down the street.
If
As
we're
you
getting
hold
a
the
letter every 30 seconds, we really need to stop tipping full golds. We will go bankrupt real quick.
If we're
I
getting
feel
a
like,
letter,
although I will admit, it might be the gold being exchanged that are drawing the people. I mean, if you think about it,
Like, seriously, they could have just given all
like
3
they're
to 1. All
couriers.
right,
Yes,
what's on
like
the
word
letter?
gets around with them.
as you
You know, like
open up the letter, you see it is from Nereus Codestep, the arbiter of the Pearl of Rarities. Um, he says that he just wanted to send a friendly reminder that he still has the mimic cloak available for us. And that he did have a potential buyer come in today that he did turn down. And that it is very, very important that that you guys come by to pick it up, as he is currently afraid of thieves.
right, well, if that's
I think we
any
can go to the
indication
little
that we need to
well.
get a move on.
Yep.
As you continue your way
Emily,
to
no more,
Lean's
no more mail
Extraordinary
carriers,
Armaments,
please.
Another mail carrier. Another mail
um,
carrier.
you come across Lean's shop. The street outside paved with scorched flagstones. The shop is a single-story stone-walled building with several leaded glass windows. As you walk in, you see an anxious-looking adventurer who seems very much out of place, talking to an old female halfling behind the counter, who looks like she is just the comparison between the two is hilarious. You've got this scrawny little fresh adventurer, probably barely out of the academy, if not out of the academy, excuse me, barely started within the academy, and this small old halfling who is just being smooth as fuck with this with patience with this adventurer.
Are
Um,
they the mail carriers?
and all around you are beautiful weapons, armor, metalworks in general, um, that adorn the walls and shelves of this place.
Hello.
Just a moment, please. And
Of
she
course, of
begins
course. Take your
talking
time.
talking with the adventurer again. Look, I'm sorry. You just Your frame is too slight for that kind of armor. You would barely be able to walk. But how am I supposed to, protect myself if I don't, have heavy armor? Look, honey, you don't need the heaviest armor possible. With someone of your frame, you need something more light, something that you can move around with and dodge attacks, not get hit by them. Oh, but I'm not that fast. I was always last place in races. Okay. Um. Well, how about this? Let me think about it. Come back. You like go relax over in the corner and let me help these guys. Okay. Okay. Um. As she says to you all, hi, welcome. How can I help you today?
Hello there. Um,
Hello.
we came
Have I
across.
seen you before? I think I've seen you before. Well, yeah, I
Brian,
have a good mind for things. Nice to meet you, Brian, or meet you again. Oh, well. Anyway,
I've been in here a few times, mostly admiring the wares, wishing to be adventuring. Now I'm doing it.
congratulations.
Came across a rather large quantity of gemstones while in the process of adventuring, and well, we were looking to sell for a reasonable price.
All right, show me what you got. As you lay out, how much in gems do you lay out? Like how many, I should say. Like you know what I
Enough to
mean.
buy the
Like,
cloak?
Um,
I'm assuming?
are you doing a lot or are you doing a little?
I
I'm
would
doing
rather not
about.
do a lot.
It's a lot. I described a lot, so I'm putting a lot, and I'm going to. But I'm not going to put out all. I'm going to put
Okay.
out like half the gems, and just say we do have more, but they're similar quality to this.
You see, she's like, ooh, look at these. Now, as great as I appreciate, adventurers bringing their wares directly to me, rather than Thistle do nicely. Uh, I was wondering why bring them here. She gives you a knowing glance.
Um, Principally, we believed we would be in better company by bringing them to you than by bringing them to This'll Do Nicely. Adventurers code and all that.
She gives you a bit of a nod. Well, these are fine. Um, the problem is as much as I love crafting these beautiful works that you see up here, inlaid gems are rather expensive, and I do have a hard time selling them.
It's fun if you don't. If you can't.
No, I did not say I can't. I'm just saying I'll be stuck with these wares for a while.
I think I understand your meaning. If you're concerned about their uh, shelf life, perhaps they could be considered for what they are worth as components.
Wait, so DM, just to get this straight, these gemstones are already like sort of cut and polished,
Correct.
and
Mhm.
like they're worth considerably more as like a material used sort of, like as a decorational or aesthetic ornament rather than like, to be used in casting components and all that, right? So
You would
selling them
say,
as
yeah. So you would say that by selling them as components, you're far less likely to get a higher price, but you're far more likely to be able to sell them.
yeah, but we're selling them under value. It's not about the fact
Also,
that we're
also,
selling them.
also, also, they won't be known anymore.
You're
Which is a
right.
Because
big
Which
thing.
once a
grind them up.
diamond is diamond dust, it is not a diamond.
Yeah, that is actually pretty clever.
And even
Hmm.
if it was split into two high quality cut gems, it would not be the same gem,
Yeah,
right? And that is what I am telling her without admitting anything.
that is pretty smart.
Roll me a persuasion check at advantage.
Let me see if I have a portent for that persuasion check real quick. Let me open up my character sheet. It won't. Nope. All right.
Okay. Well,
I
if you're
got
saying no,
a.
then I'm gonna roll.
Yeah, I got
I've got
nothing.
advantage. I've got advantage on the
Let's
roll. I've
roll.
got high.
Nice.
Ooh, that
Nice.
last second, like you saw that 5 to 15.
Yep.
I
uh,
didn't because I have dice turned off.
uh,
Yeah, but I don't know why it didn't
22.
roll on my screen, but
oh, it'll probably
22.
take a second. With a 22, she says, "Okay, well, I think I could make this work. Hmm. Well, let's see." She pulls out, a magnifying glass and is looking over everything, and says, "So for this many gems, the I would be able to offer you approximately. She does not say approximately. I'll be able to offer you 3,000.
how much
How much did the
did we
cloak cost
bring out?
again?
You brought out a good amount, probably about 4,000 worth.
Do you think you could do 3,200?
All right, yeah, 3,200. Done.
Shake her hand.
How
Give
much
me
did the
just a
cloak
moment.
cost again?
Oh, how much did the cloak cost?
We got it slashed in price, right? Because they don't want it.
I think it was 2,000, right?
I think that was about right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was 2,000. Um, um, and you see she pulls out basically just giant bags, each one holding like there's three large bags that hold a hundred
Lots of
platinum
platinum.
each. Yeah, lots of platinum. Um, and says
324.
Well, anything now that you have bought me out of house, well, excuse me, now that I have sold you my house and my left kidney, what else can I do for you all?
Mm.
Actually, I heard the conversation you were having before. Um, would not mithril armor fit the description of somebody who wants heavy armor but
Oh,
cannot meet the strength
certainly,
requirements?
certainly. But the biggest issue here, and she glances at him, is fun.
Hmm. A cheap set of armor that makes him nearly impervious to damage and doesn't require him to be quick would be quite a trick indeed.
It would certainly.
Um, this is out of game. Lily. You do have heavy armor proficiency, and mithril armor bypasses strength requirements if you are interested. But that is up to you.
Yep.
Lily, you here?
What armor I have right now.
Let me pull it up. The armor you have right now.
I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure I put on heavy armor.
You did put on heavy armor. It says you have both leather armor and heavy armor. Let me see.
But
What
I'm
are
wearing heavy armor.
Yeah, you have breastplate. You've got a breastplate. So yeah, you're currently wearing heavy armor.
Mm.
But
Is the mithril armor better?
To put it into so, if you're currently wearing heavy armor, your speed should be 20 feet. Because
hold
you
on,
don't
I'm
reach the
just
strength
checking.
requirement. Um,
No, she does. She does meet the strength requirement for her breastplate.
oh, right, because those are different. Um, but essentially, with a shield and with heavy plate, which has a requirement of 15, um, you would be at an AC of 20,
Mm.
Which is
which is
insane,
a
by the way.
three
20 is
point,
like,
which is a 3 point jump for you.
Yeah.
Um, the problem is mithril plate is pricey.
How pricey?
Well, if you
it's
sold your,
magical item, so of course it is, right?
it's actually
It's non-magical.
not considered magical, which means your +1 breastplate would actually probably trade in, maybe even
Yeah.
favorably, which is just ridiculous in terms of in-game economics, and we don't need to get into how D&D is broken in that way.
Yeah.
But and it's up to Emily to decide what she'd like. But it is an opportunity for you, if they have it.
Okay. Do they have it?
Oh, we have it here.
Yeah.
I do. I do.
Can I see it?
Yes.
Certainly. You
No.
see, she hops down from her place behind the counter and makes her way over to uh, a stand, and you see a set of of like a full set of beautiful plate armor. Let me show you a picture. Let's see. Oh, that was the wrong. Oh, fucking hell! How did I do? Okay, I did it fine. I'm just stupid. We're here, so I'll just throw it here. Basically, sorry, I'm scrolling and doing things and dragging and oh my god, that's so tiny.
It's tiny
I
armor.
can't even. No, the picture was really tiny. Like I couldn't even like select it. It was so
Oh,
small.
I thought you were
Oh,
talking about
no.
something else. Never mind.
There you go. Something along this line.
It's shiny.
Hell yeah.
It's mithril.
Yep, this one is absolutely, but that's what it would look like.
Okay. How much is it?
Well, for this, you're looking at about 2,000, I believe. Hold on, let me look it up. Plate armor. I think it might be more than that actually.
Emily's now super cautious about all of the trade prices ever since Kale
Plate
went in.
armor by itself is
Yeah, so 2,000. Yeah,
Okay.
because it's
How much is
500.
the-
It's 500 in addition for mithril, so 2,000 is accurate.
How much is the armor I'm wearing right now? What would you price this at?
Let me see here. $400. 500
Okay.
for you. She gives you a wink.
Oh, wink.
Well, I don't have enough money
Oh,
to.
hold on. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. I just am stupid. You're looking at 1,500. Was that right?
That
This
sounds more
one.
accurate to what
Yeah,
I know.
that's more accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because if it was plus one plate armor, it'd be 3,000. So the breastplate is one. So it's 1,500.
Okay. I'm 100 short,
Simple.
I think.
I could make the trade for 500 gold.
I was going to find a better use of 500 gold.
What was that?
We're not going to find a better use of 500 gold. She's
Okay.
looking at Moonzik and, like, gesturing to the
To the.
money we just made.
Yeah, and
Well,
plus we still have left over for what we need to do. I think that's a very good investment. Go for it.
okay. I mean, I have 900 gold on me right now,
It's
so I
only
would
going to
need
cost
about
you
500.
500
Yeah, it's
So
only
it's
going to
only
to
cost
do
going
an
to
you.
cost you
exchange.
500.
Yeah, because you're.
So you could just do it.
Yeah.
It's a trade-in.
Oh, I give the breastplate
Mhm.
and 500 gold on top of that, and that'll cover it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's a
I
trade-in. Then you can give the breastplate to that person that's like arguing at the counter, and then that person gets sold at a markup price because of course it
L.
is.
Okay,
And
let's do
basically,
this.
all he did was shuffle around our gear and made some money.
Okay.
Here's 500 gold. And,
Don't forget, everyone. This is a casual trope for clerics. High AC.
Yeah, by the way, clerics are like super broken in busted and overpowered and just are generally really strong.
And
Thank
also,
you.
and also fun to play.
Yes, and have a
Absolutely.
solution to everything. Basically, cleric strong.
Cleric very strong.
No one can deny clerics are like S tier.
Oh, okay. You're adding it in for me.
I am.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. There you go. With a armor class of 30. Sorry.
30!
Wait,
I
thinking about like
fucked up. I
I mean,
fucked up.
yeah, you can if you want to.
I messed up. I made a typo.
no one can hit me now.
It's not even a Tarrasque.
It's not even a
Tar-
Tarrasques tremble in fear at the
Tarask,
presence.
thy name is Windchime.
Tarrasque tries to bite you. You stand still. Teeth cannot penetrate armor. You laugh in the Tarrasque face.
You remember Tarrasque plate, Emily?
I do. 26 AC. 26 AC.
Level
Christ.
3.
Tarrasque plate. That's a new
Why?
one.
Does my speed go down too?
No.
No.
Nope.
That's
Movement
why.
speed is
That's why we care about Mithril.
barely affected by armor.
That's why Mithril is good.
Yeah.
The armor.
Even then, your movement speed's affected only when you're over encumbered with armor you don't have proficiency or strength modifiers to wear. Then your speed is halved. Right? So, if Edward the wizard who had no proficiency to heavy armor would put it on, he won't be able to cast spells with it on. He won't be able to, run normal speed. He wouldn't be able to do a lot of stuff.
Because he has put all his energy and attention into just walking.
Yes. Yeah. But hey, at least he'll have the AC.
But
Huzzah.
Windchime,
'Cause,
you look good. Um,
I mean,
as
she
she
always looks
spends
good. You gotta be more
as she
specific.
spends a bit of time instructing you and the party, as this armor cannot be put on by herself. Well, not easily. It can. It just takes a really long time.
That's what
So mostly Nahiri, on how to on how to put on the armor and what straps go where and what goes on first. After a bit, you are good. You feel great.
Yeah, I do. I do a little like fashion show for everyone.
Our
Ba-
bows.
back,
This is how you walk in heavy armor, guys.
background clanking of metal.
You still have disadvantage on stealth checks. So.
Yes.
But does it matter?
I'm actually not sure.
I'm looking. It does not impose disadvantage on stealth checks, so you do not have disadvantage on stealth checks.
Ooh.
You can do whatever you'd like.
Sneaky heavy armor.
And with this is unenchanted, so you can take it somewhere to get it enchanted in the future if you would like.
Okay.
Just something to keep in mind. Although that process does typically take a while.
And a
Jeez.
lot of money.
And a
And
lot
a
of money. Well, all right.
Anything else that you would like to do here at Leanne's Extraordinary Armaments?
Don't believe.
Brian is just gonna take a cursory look at the shields. I'm mostly just looking for something fun and interesting with shields because I think the base shield AC is boring as shit.
It's a 2. Don't diss the 2.
No, it's a good too. Don't get me wrong.
It's a very important too. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
It's a very important too.
It's a 2 that has saved your ass.
It very much has, but I like flavor.
Like strap
Okay.
spikes on it. Oh, I mean, we can change the 2 on your AC's, like, shield description to an italicized 2. That'll work.
2.
Put some
2.
garlic on that shield.
If you want to be a little more out there, we could also go a little bold.
Oh yeah, bold and it italicized the 2.
Don't forget underlined.
Ooh, and
Oh, this is
We could even increase the font if you so please.
Wait,
I
Crank
think we're
that up
going
to
a little wild, man.
72.
wait, hold
I
on.
think
No,
we're
no,
going
guys.
a little wild, man.
Hear me out.
Dude, okay, I'm sorry. I just realized that no, I'm having issues gathering my resources. A lot of my resources are from Reddit. Reddit is currently going, a lot of the subreddits are
Oh,
going
yeah,
private
yeah.
because
because
out of blackout protests because of the plan changes to Reddit's
follow
APIs.
apps and everything.
So
Right.
I don't have access to my my normal list of
Wacky funny.
resources. Yeah. That I
Make
have
it up.
saved, which is really it. Okay.
It's unfortunate.
You find a bracer that acts as a shield spell that you can cast shield with.
Excuse me?
What?
Excuse me?
Excuse me?
How many times can you cast shield through this bracer?
It's still okay, hold
For a
on.
long
Let me I'm trying to come up with this. Do know that this shield it cannot be used with a shield.
Okay, so -2 AC.
But as a reaction, you can cast shield twice a day. It recharges 1 charge every dawn.
Oh my god, that
Ooh.
is amazing. That
Is
is
it?
absolutely god tier.
Is
That
that
is
better than
so cool.
constant? No. Is that better than constant +2 to your AC,
Oh,
man?
because you can put it on anyone that's not you.
What?
Well, yeah. So it's
You can put
good.
it on
It's still
Moonzik.
your
You can put
it's
it on
still
Wind.
your reaction. You cannot use a shield.
And is it does it require shield proficiencies?
This case, yeah. This is an
Yeah.
armament
Oh.
shop. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
This
a
is a
shield.
replacement. You have to be used to using a shield. It's just
Yeah,
it's a
it's
shield. You use
basically
your
an
Does it
arm.
expando
require, okay, here's
shield.
the question. Does it require a single slot in your hand? When I say that, I mean like, how you can only hold 2 things at once because you have 2 hands.
We've already dealt with hand economy, man.
Yeah, so does this require you to hold in your hand like a shield?
Technically, no.
Oh.
Because it's a brace.
Then this
Like
is
you,
amazing.
for
Then
example, like
it's
if Moonzik were to use it, he could be able to hold both his daggers. But
Right.
you wouldn't be able, if you were using the shield, you wouldn't be able to attack with it, right? With that
Right.
arm that's shielding, right?
Alright.
yeah.
So basically it's an expando shield. It can only be used twice a day.
3 times a day, expands. It's charges 1 per dawn.
1 per
Yeah, so you can
dawn.
use it right before dawn and then use it at after dawn twice.
Mm,
God damn
So
it.
it has 3 charges.
3 charges. Recharges 1 every dawn.
Wait, I can
Meaning...
use it. How many times can I use it?
Oh my god, man.
Well, druids have shield
Um,
proficiency, right?
Anyway.
That's not
I'm just
no.
saying, we can give it to dawn.
So basically, you activate this whenever you get hit by an attack that would miss if you upped yours by 3. Is the math.
Yes, I think we give it to our druid, who has a shield
Oh.
proficiency. Doesn't struggle with You know, it's just basically a free
I'm.
deal free
Oh,
twice, 3 times
God.
a day.
How did you make this such a hard calculation, Emily?
I look at a lot of them. I look at a lot of them.
I'm gonna go with no, but I'm not sure it's the right choice.
I say we give it to Don.
Just
Well,
because the amount of times I get hit by 2 is very close to equal to the amount of times I'm going to get hit by 3, right?
yeah. But I still think putting like in like just like shield into that thing is just really really strong. It's basically I think I see it sort of like a level 3 ring of spell storing with nothing but shields that automatically rejuvenate itself, right? That's one way to
Yeah,
put
but
it.
that would be great.
Yeah,
Because Ring of Spell Storing, you could fit 3 in per day.
yeah, but this just automatically recharges once per day, right?
Right, which isn't as good.
But I still see it functionally as very similar to a ring of spell storing, right? And that in
Also it
itself with
reduces your AC by 2.
yeah, but like, if you're not wielding a shield like
Yeah.
Soren isn't wielding a shield, there's no reducing your AC.
Put it on the other arm. No, I'm kidding. You can't wear a shield with it.
Yeah.
It'd be really
Yeah, I
funny.
still think this is like Soren's
It's
thing.
a really good option, and I do love that it's flavor, but I do think it's very slightly worse than just going +2
Yeah,
permanent AC.
consistency is key.
Yeah. I think there will be fights where I'll just desperately wish I had taken this, but I think there will be fights if I take this where I desperately wish I hadn't.
It's a catch
Yeah.
22.
What's up?
So I honestly think give this to Soren and like yeah.
Well, Soren has to express his want to have it, because it's also going to cost
Enough.
something.
Fair enough.
Oh, is this where I chime in?
This is where
If
you
you
chime
want
in.
to.
We've been
Uh, I don't really know how I feel about it.
yeah.
I mean, I am gonna supposed to be kind of the up and front line, so I'm gonna get hit a lot more. So I don't know if it's really worth getting rid of it.
Question. So this is not an actual spell. You're allowed to cast it while you're in Druid wild shape form, right?
It's not really what I'm worried about.
Fair
No,
enough,
but it
but
is a good point.
this is just a good point, is that you can't cast anything with Ring of Spell Storing while you're wild shaped, just because it still technically counts as casting a spell. But you could most definitely use active
Yeah,
abilities on right?
if it's active, sure, but it only lasts for one round because it's still shield.
Shield is one of the best spells you can put in a Ring of Spell Storing.
I mean,
Okay?
absolutely, but I'm going to the. I get that. That's not the point. The thing is like you cast shield as a reaction, then, or you. I
I
don't
mean,
think it would
Jace
work
Druid is not a
because
very reaction heavy class, not the same way Wizard is, where like your
yeah,
reactions use return, right? On shields,
I
counter
think
spells,
I
sort of
think
thing.
it would. I would be much more okay with it, specifically in the circle of the stars, because the starry forms that are taken is still literally him, versus if you were to say wild shape into a bear, right? All of your armor, all of your shit is like melded into you, right?
Yeah,
Versus the starry forms where that's not the case. So
yeah.
in I think in in Soren's case, he'd be able to use his starry form. He wouldn't be able to use wild shape
All right.
with it, because I feel like that to me that makes sense. Because that's part of the whole reason when you're using wild shapes why you can't cast spells.
Yeah,
But with
because you
starry
can't say
form,
words and
he
you can't
can.
do wiggle
But
fingers.
with his starry form, he can cast spells while he's in that form, right?
Yeah.
So because he could use it, but he wouldn't be able to turn into a bear and use it.
Yeah.
You
Anyway, all of that aside, well, I suppose you all could just come back for it.
Yeah. Perhaps I'll
Yes.
take a look at some of the shields you said you had in the back getting refurbished.
Of course, I have to deal with this young and upcoming adventurer, so have a great day. We'll see you guys around.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
As you all head out of Lean's Extraordinary Armaments. As you do so, where are you going?
To buy the mimic cloak.
To buy the mimic cloak.
Fantastic. You make your way over to the Pearl of Rarities, and inside of the Pearl of Rarities is a is of course
Here's another mail carrier.
it is
Oh, my gold
Cackle
coin.
wildly.
Son of a
is
bitch!
Marius Cove Step. That middle-aged pretty boy water genasi storm sorcerer. And you walk in, and a huge smile crosses his face. I am so glad you all got my. How does he talk? I am. I remember how he talked. I am so glad that you got. I have no idea how he talks. I don't remember. I am so glad
Zero
that you
ideas
guys.
inside my head.
Yeah, none. I am so glad that you guys have returned to me. Did you get my letter?
We did. We did.
Yes,
Fantastic.
indeed.
I paid extra for that boy to go quickly.
Could tell.
So, we've procured the adequate funding in order to secure this item. Well, liability is more accurate to say it, but
Well, in that case, you see, he pulls out the mimic cloak, which I do still have picture. I do still have picture of. If you want to see. Ah. He pulls out the mimic cloak for you. Notice that the other items are still for sale. If you would like to take a look, they of course.
After purchasing this one, we might be in a small bit of trouble for a little bit. Funds-wise, obviously.
Oh, certainly. I definitely wasn't thinking anything else. Okay. Uh, and you all make the exchange. 2,000 gold, please. As he hands you the mimic cloak. Let me pull the mimic cloak up again.
Da 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 da.
Where's the mimic? There it is. Close the mimic cloak. Handout. Let's get this. Oops. The fuck did it go? There it is. And of course this. There you Okay. I believe that should have appeared. Why didn't it appear? Why didn't it appear? Sorry, it's taking a really long time. I can't get it to show up.
No worries. We'll just sit here and talk about the weather.
The unloading tip.
It's not popping up, and I don't know why. Yeah, DM loading tip.
Anyone got one?
Oh, I have that list.
Yes.
DM
No.
loading tip. I love the spell Catapult. Catapult is an incredibly versatile spell, not on the basis that, not on the basis of what the spell description is, but in reality on the basis of what you can actually fling, which is virtually any item that weighs, depending on the level that you're casting it, assuming you're not casting it, up to 5 pounds. Right? Meaning you can hurl objects that have either a status effect or hurl, various things that, cause extra damage or, cause a hazard on the battlefield
Hey, one of these is
onto the
mine.
object or an enemy for additional effects, like, like hurling oil at something and then igniting it, or hurling flasks of alchemist fire, which allows you to effectively utilized the action of both in applying an alchemist's fire on the enemy and using a catapult spell in the same action, which is incredibly efficient for action economy. And also, it allows you to effectively move objects across the battlefield without, necessarily requiring you to use a mage hand to do so. Meaning, if enemies are disarmed even momentarily, you can use catapult in order to permanently disarm them by hurling their weapon away from the battlefield where they won't be able to reach in a reasonable amount of time. Or if you need a certain object that you are trying to acquire, but it is currently out of reach, you can then, assuming it's within catapult's range of 60 feet, catapult that item near you, or at least towards the floor near you, and or towards an object so that it will be stopped once it makes a collision with that, and safely retrieve that object without necessarily needing to walk to it. Overall, very versatile spell, very underrated, and it still does pretty good damage for first level, even though it's not a half damage save spell. So overall, lower than average DPR, but really high versatility and utility.
Now
Copy
we've
the
got it.
letter.
Hit us with another DM loading tip, Kale.
Yeah. Click copy the header image.
The As soon as you start casting a spell or using a special ability that requires concentration, your concentration on another effect ends instantly. Alternatively, you can end concentration on a spell at any time of your choosing, not just on your turn.
Right on.
Okay. Remove this. Sorry. Okay. Last one. I'm sorry.
If you want to cast a spell that has a casting time of 1 bonus action, you may not cast another spell that has an action except a cantrip because of the yeah, just because
Okay, I think
balancing.
a better way to
Because
put it is
rules.
you can't cast multiple spells in a turn that require a leveled spell slot that isn't a cantrip. This extends effectively to not being able to stack action and bonus action spells on the same turn, and also lesser known but cannot be stacked on top of reaction spells with any of the aforementioned action bonus action spells. Therefore, if you cast a leveled spell and the enemy counterspells it, you are not allowed to counter that counterspell in response on the basis that it is still being casted with your turn, and both the level spell that is
No?
being cast and your counterspell both require a spell slot higher than cantrip level.
Okay, all of that aside, it should now be in your available things with the proper text underneath it.
Yes.
You have that, and the text is underneath it for you, correct?
Yes.
Fantastic. That was way too much work. Okay.
Bitch Bran.
Fantastic. Now, having spent the majority of the afternoon wandering around town, what would you like to do?
Why don't we go check up on our little friend at the Temple of Melora? The Melora's lighthouse, I would say.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
When you say check up, are you planning on doing anything or no?
Well, I was planning. I'm assuming we
Question.
I'm assuming we short rested during the period of walking around and reading books and buying items and doing stuff, right? Did
Yeah,
I
that
short
would be a
rest?
short rest. Yeah, that
That'd
can
be a
be a
short
short
rest.
rest.
All right. I'm gonna drop another locate object on specifically the golden chain that you know, our little innocuous friend, was wearing when we first met him.
That specific chain with the pendant on it?
Yes, that one specifically, not like the nearest one because that will ping Brian's. Yeah, I've seen it up close within 10 feet before, so I can locate that particular object.
Okay. Um, Making your way back up to the Melora's lighthouse. Mm, yes. Making your way back to Melora's lighthouse, you you still see the handful of people there that you had saw just a few hours prior. Clearly, there have been improvements since the last time that you were here. A lot more plants. Things look a little bit cleaned up. You see some like edgings and trimmings have been done. Um, and you see the gentleman that you had seen before. Still, it appears that he has almost not moved from the location that he had walked to, as he is still kneeling down um, near the box as before. That particular one. Although you can see it's not that he hasn't been working. There is clearly several more plants there um, and general upkeep that has been done. So it's not that he hasn't been working, but he is there kneeling at the same one.
Right, would you like to throw up a detect? I'm gonna whisper to Brian. Would you like to throw up a detect magic in case we can detect some form of
Magic.
anything? Any magic that he himself specifically could be casting.
Do you cast detect magic?
I can't do it quickly. It'll take me 10 minutes. I can only do it as a ritual.
Works for me.
Okay, then
I
I'm
mean,
doing
then
so.
again, I could just cast it then.
Well, yeah, but I might as well.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing in the 10 minutes that Brian is casting detect magic?
Trying to.
Soren's gonna start helping out around there.
Like we're far enough that he's not gonna notice anything we're saying, right? I'm gonna say, Okay, so I'm assuming by your you know decision, or by our decision to take preventative measures, do we at least apprehend or detain him, or do we keep him under? Should we apprehend or detain him? Is the question being asked? Because if we do so, that would most likely set off any of his co-conspirators. You know, cause them to at least abandon the site, but we won't be able to apprehend or catch any of them later. And, quite frankly, it'll tip off their entire organization knowing that we are taking action against them.
Would you be able to send Cole to, like, if he were to leave this location and then follow him? I suppose you'd have
I
to
mean,
travel with, but
I mean, yes. I mean, my original suggestion, instead of at least saving people, is to hang back and not directly take affirmative action, but to, well, just to watch them for any doing for just watch them in case they do anything suspicious. There's a good chance that there's more than one individual. If we found one pendant, and there's another individual there, that confirms the presence of two. And, by confirming the presence of two, we can then assume that they are traveling, or this is a coordinated effort. Um, with that being with that being said, we won't be able to find the rest of them if we immediately, detain, question, or scare off this individual
and that's what I'm
from being able
concerned
to cause
with,
further harm.
is I want to find where they are.
I mean, that's not consistent with the decision initially unanimously made first, right? Of preventing any further damages immediately. Soren did make that decision, but either way, my personal decision, I would have gone with, you know, holding back and being able to catch the entire, well, being able to catch the entire snake, being able to catch the entire hydra instead of one head,
Right.
you know, proverbially, right? Although that in itself would pose a greater risk to the general people, servants, attendants of the lighthouse, people of that nature. And generally, I do honestly think being able to surveil and at least observe them would give us clues about the Lightkeeper, the original Lightkeeper of the lighthouse, at least. Again, this does pose a risk. Doing so does pose a risk to, the servants, attendants, and people at the lighthouse, right? And I can respect Soren's decision to prevent that.
It's always really tricky, and I still don't know what the better idea is. My gut tells me that we should follow them and see if we can find some sort of hideout of theirs. But that's my gut instinct, at least.
Yeah, but
I don't think
Soren's
the
gut
two goals
instinct
are
is
incongruent. You said that keeping this guy alive and following him was against the goals of um, making sure something didn't happen. Would not
I still think you
I don't
could.
know.
I still think you could follow someone to a hideout, and then from there make a plan to take down the group that is planning to incite another attack, like what happened yesterday.
again. this does pose a risk. If they do decide to strike and attack, this could cause more harm to individuals in the lighthouse. Soren was
Dealing
against.
with
You
one
see,
individual will not
you
stop
see
their
the
attack.
gentleman. You see the gentleman stand up and walk in your direction.
All right, hide.
Where?
There's no need to hide. We're not
Act
suspicious.
natural.
Um,
She's gonna start. She's just reading from her book again. She's gone back to studying.
Yeah.
you see he starts walking towards you before he gives you a brief nod and goes and picks up some
How
potting
far
soil.
is he from us?
He goes past you
Can
and
can
goes
we like,
behind.
inconspicuously sort of walk like out of his way so that we're not like near him within 30 feet as he's doing so?
Okay, so
Being paranoid.
I okay, so what are you planning on
I
doing?
just want to get out of range of him in case he has like a detect thought spell or like detect magic spell up or anything.
Okay, so you, as you see him start to walk in your direction, you turn around and walk away from him. And you see that the location that he was heading to as you kind of walk away towards Lucy, who is currently lounging in the sun, um, the afternoon sun, the late afternoon sun, I should say. As he continues to walk to the area that was behind you, where there is a couple of bags of potting soil, as he goes and picks one up and carries it back to his area his bed that he was working on.
How's the progress on the detect magic spell?
Emily, is it up?
Yes, sure, you've spent enough time chit chatting.
Well, see any residual necromancy spells, conjuration spells, transmutate anything of the sort?
As you get within range of him for your detect magic, you see that you can see a little bit of residual energy from him of transmutation, but otherwise nothing is pulsing from him strongly.
Was this like a similar transmutation that we found inside of the lighthouse as we were exploring it for the first time?
I would not be able to tell. Detect magic does not have that capability.
Like, I
It
mean,
can just tell
quantity-wise.
the spell school.
Quantity-wise.
And you said residual, yeah?
Yes.
Not
Like,
casting anything right now.
well, I mean, like, there's a transmutation effect on it, right?
Well, one residual, not current enchantment. I'm
I
pretty
mean,
sure if I looked at anybody in this area, I'd get that.
there is a possibility that that transmutation spell could have contaminated it or could have been, well, could have been something else to blight whatever grows in here.
Looking around, is my assumption correct that most people here are still have some residual
The
effects?
the people do not have residual effects. The area around does.
Yeah, when we say residual, we mean there's no active effect, but there was recently an active effect.
Correct. The people don't, unlike his case where he does have residual transmutation, but most of the surrounding area is residual necromancy. There is a hint of transmutation, but that was weak to begin with, and it's even weaker now.
Anything with the bags of soil that he handled?
Yeah.
Looking at the bags, no.
No. I I think there were some transmutations while he used a while back, but nothing
Could be a druid
conclusive here.
craft, if we're being honest.
Being that it is the late afternoon, you do gather that there is a meeting that you have been requested to go to at the Witherbird Inn.
Let's go.
Yeah, I suppose this is a red herring of sorts. Do we want to just go?
Let's go.
Definitely.
Though I think we should keep our
Um,
eye around here in the future, if we're able.
you make your way to the Withered Bird Inn. Let's see here. Waiting inside the inn, you see two older humans, a caramel skinned man with strong hands, and a pale, thin woman with neatly piled platinum hair. After a long assessing stare, once you walk in, um, the elderly woman beckons you forward. You are the Legati company, correct?
Yes.
We are grateful that you came. This is my husband and longtime comrade, Various Crandall. Just feel free to call him Ignis.
A pleasure.
I am Branda. The two of us were once adventurers, like a lot of you. We, along with a few of our friends, have had more than our share of excitement in our youth. She looks at her companion, who sits up and takes a sip of his ale, wiping his gray mustache with a little embroidered cloth. He says to you, each each year, about this time, the remaining four of us gather together in this city to remember our fallen friend Roma, and to lend our experience to a cause worth fighting for. We still can face bullies and brigands and such, but my hammer gets heavier every time I lift it. I've meant for each of our last three ventures to be the end, but Miranda and I still travel here every year to meet up with Dern and Targan and share a few stories with younger travelers like yourselves. You see, he pauses for a long second before he continues. Worry hangs heavy in the air as he clears his throat. Our two friends have not made their appearance yet this year, and we've learned that one, Dern, is laid up in a place called Mother's Care Home for Invalids, nearby in Hope's Hollow, which is a very small hamlet not too far from here. The other one is more curious. Targan. He's a half elf, so he's a bit more active and nimble than the rest of us, and he never really took to retirement. So this gathering started as his idea. It worries us, both of us, that he hasn't shown, especially as we've made our share of enemies over the years. I think it's best we stay here should Targan arrive. But I ask that you should check on his home for us, just in case. Bring back word of Dern as well. Branda takes over and says, We've talked about mentoring a few younger pioneers, maybe even handing down a few secrets we've never quite explored. We'd be willing to lend you our company and more if you'd be good enough to check on our two friends. If they need help, we'd rather someone younger and up to a challenge discover them. Once we know they're safe, we'll look in on them ourselves.
I think this is something we can handle. You didn't mention checking on your friend's Targus, was it, in his home? Where does he live here in
Tarkin.
Targan? Does he live here in Nicodranas?
Yes, just outside the walls.
Hmm.
Should
Do
be easy
you
enough.
would you provide us with his address so we can go and check on him?
Certainly, certainly, he says.
All right.
Any help that you are all able to give. We've heard great word uh, from Judge Renette about the Legati Company and their your endeavors.
We're always happy to help out a friend of the good Judge Renette.
You see the worried smile, excuse me, the worry fades into a smile on his face. He said, he said that you helped him to find his wife.
That's right.
Yes.
Although that's
Quite the knack of finding people, I've heard.
yes. Although hopefully the consequences aren't as grim as how we as a situation as we found the judge's wife in. That was a rather grim experience, wouldn't you say, Edward?
Yes, very much so. I would say that this entire experience in itself is not, hopefully not something we have to revisit. We can hope for the best, but we're definitely prepared for the worst. If
Oh my
you know,
gosh, could you give them a little bit of hope? It's a house call.
It's a
fair
wellness
enough,
check.
it is a hassle.
We'll
Um,
let you know what's going on.
Thank you. Uh, I really do appreciate it. Um, coin, treasure, whatever you want, as long as they're safe.
Well, we'll see what makes sense after the job is done. I
Thank you.
wouldn't want to charge you hand over fist for a simple knock on the door of a forgetful man, nor rob ourselves of what we deserve after a very dangerous quest.
Well, regardless, I greatly appreciate your help. I just, in my old age, you see, Branda puts her hand on Ignatius and says, "It's okay. It's okay. We appreciate the help. I know it seems kind of silly, but he really is a capable man. I and I don't know. Word of uh, shit. What's the name? My brain just said. And word of Dern is also. I'm sorry. It seems very out of the ordinary for him to be in a home for invalids. I'm sorry. It just doesn't seem right.
I completely understand.
We'll
Well,
discover the whereabouts and we'll give you any updates or we'll send with any other questions we might have just in case.
Um, he they hand you directions to Hope's Hollow, which is about an hour ride north. Um, Pretty quick, all things considered. And the address of Therigon's house here in Nicodranas. Um, and with that, you can see as you guys get up to leave, there's this forlorn look in their eyes. Seeing Maybe it's just seeing younger adventurers heading off, reminding them of their youth, or um, worry over their companions' whereabouts. Either way, you all have a quest. So, that is where we're going to end tonight's session. I know it's a little bit early once again, but seems like a decent place.
It's a good stopping point.
Yeah.
All right. For those of you on YouTube, thank you all so much for watching. This will be the end of part 2. If you liked the video, drop a like down below. If you want to leave a comment of any kind, drop it down below the video as well. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this with Dungeons and Dragons. We are getting close to the end of Crypt of the Forgotten Priest, and that will be uploaded to YouTube after the session is completed. And with that, I hope you all have a good night. We'll see you later.